Hello disc golf fans and thank you for watching. This is Final 9 highlights from the Mello Yello Challenge at the Solitude Mountain Resort. Here's a look at the standings after the first two rounds. Among the familiar names of traveling pros, we have a handful of Utah's finest. Paul Ulibarri currently leads the field by 12 strokes and is 2 under on the round when we join the lead card. A short ski lift ride up the mountain to hole number 9, and Drew Gibson just birdied hole 8, so he has the box. This is 333 feet uphill, and he gets a bad kick off of that rock into those pines. Garrett Gurthie also birdied hole 8. And here's Garrett's putt for birdie. And with that, he is 4 under on the day and off to a great start. Here is a look at the front 9 of the Solitude Mountain Resort, located just outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. Today we're playing a modified round of 18. Hole 7 plays from the tee box of 7 to the basket of 8, a par 4, and we just saw the drives on hole 9. Hole 10 is just over 300 feet as well. You can barely see the basket buried in that island of aspens. But Garrett is able to get one pin high down there. As Paul comes up a little bit short, he'll have to fight all the way through. And this is Josh Newton, the Utah local, on the lead card. As we come to hole number 11, Garrett Gurthie picks up a birdie, as well as Josh. So Garrett will have the box. That puts him at 5 under for the day. And Paul gets a very lucky deflection, but not quite in the clearings. And a lucky deflection for Matt as well. That is a steep drop off to the left and very thick with pines. Matt still has some work to do. And he finds a way to thread it through the aspens and hit the top of the basket. Won't be much easier for Paul. And he will make an excellent 2. Garrett finds himself with a much more difficult lie than he anticipated. He's forced to go under the tree. and lay up to take a par. A birdie for Drew Gibson. As we move on to hole number 12, here's Paul off the tee. This is a very tight fairway of aspen trees with a high ceiling, and Paul finds a way to thread it down there and get basket high. As does Garrett, leaning literally up against the pin. And that is Matt Stillacker. Perhaps the toughest birdie putt for the group, as Josh's drive deflected and tapped in for par. As we move on to hole number 13, this is the second combined hole on the course today. It's playing as a par 5, 825 feet. And here is local Corey Sharp throwing his second shot up into the 14th pin. And he will make an eagle 3 with that drop in. Here comes the drives from the lead card. I believe that's Garrett Gurthie's drive. Here's Paul Ulibarri's flying over the top of my head. And I believe this was Matt's, just crushing everyone's drive. So this is perhaps the widest ski run on the entire resort. And Garrett still has a long way. And that will be a very tight putt for 3. Unfortunately, Matt leaving it a little bit short. And here's Paul after pushing his drive to the right. Almost dunks it in the bucket for a 3. And this is for a birdie 4 for Josh. Just missing. He'll take the only par on this hole. Everyone will tap in for birdie. During the first 2 rounds of play, Solitude's rugged 9 would force pros and AMs about 1,000 vertical feet up the mountain and then play 5 holes back downhill, totaling 4,378 feet packed into 9 holes. And here's Jake Laputka putting for birdie. This is a look at 15 from the tee pad. And Paul will take the box after a drop in birdie 4. Josh getting a little too much speed on it and it doesn't hit anything. He'll have a backdoor uphill putt. Just to show you how tricky it is to putt through these aspens. Josh makes a good 2 right there though. And Paul for 2. He is absolutely heating up now. He's got hole number 2, number 6, number 11, 12, 14, and 15. Garrett Gurthie puts a birdie in there as well. And here is a look at hole 16 and 17. A look at Shea Shankopotamus Chamberlain cleaning up. This is the view from the tee pad, hole 16. And Paul comes just a little bit short of those boulders. Garrett's, however, sailing right over the top of the basket. This hole position is a little bit shorter than rounds 1 and 2. And Drew will have a nice look at the basket top side of that pine. I spun around here to get Jake Laputka's drive on hole 17. I knew he was good for a highlight.
Oh my god.
And turned around and almost missed this highlight birdie from Paul. He is on fire. Drew's look at birdie. And it is tough to make par when you miss putts on ski resort golf courses. Garrett missing his birdie. But Josh will take a 2. And here's the party on the 18th tee. Usually a 3 or 4 group wait, but everyone's in good spirits, sharing stories and highlights during their round. I spun around real quick to get Josh's drive,
Ooh.
and that was an ace run. This hill is uphill all the way, and Garrett just puts way too much on it. Sails right over the top of the basket and halfway down the 18-hole fairway. I missed Paul's drive, but this is him for birdie. And he is unstoppable. 8 under on the round right now for Paul. And Josh wants to get 2 in a row after an ace run. Just misses. And a nice par for Garrett with a very scary backdrop looking all the way down the fairway of hole 18, which you will see in a moment here. Although a 3 or 4 group wait can slow your momentum down, I didn't mind too much because a longer wait for the lead card meant I got to film more drives off this 1,500 foot par 4, the signature 18th hole at Solitude Mountain Resort. He is not going for that basket. However, that's the basket you usually throw at when you come to play Solitude on hole 18. Local pro Mike Milne, thank you for all you do here at the local disc golf scene, Mike. And Utah legend Corey Sharp, rumored to be throwing rocks off this hole, usually on hole 18, which I'm sure he does often. But later I found out this was a destroyer. and the speed just helped it get a little bit of distance and onto the grass field. If you haven't heard, Jake LaPucca had an amazing first round. He went bogeyless for 22 holes and carded a 7 under for round 1. His caddy posted the entire round up to YouTube. It is a must watch.
Missed his freaking drive.
I just got the second half of Paul Ulibarri's drive. He skipped inbounds before going over the heads and disrupting the game of 7 on the line.
Wait, that was nice.
And unfortunately, he is short of the road. That leaves for a very long upshot. Garrett told me this was his first time up to Solitude, but he cannot wait to come back and throw a hole 18 just like this over and over again. That is easily the drive of the day on hole 18 by Garrett Gurthie. And I'm just going to put everyone's drives in there because they're so fun to watch. And down they go. Mike able to pick up a birdie 3 here. And this is Paul Ulibarri's approach from out of bounds. And a very long upshot from Drew here. It's hard to describe just how much room there is. You could easily fit a football field down here. And Josh comes up just short for his birdie 3. And Garrett is unable to capitalize on his eagle 2. And we'll play 3 extra holes to complete 18. The first is the lake, then we'll play a hole called the lift, and then a hole called the ridge. Garrett had the box, but I missed his drive. This is Paul, putting it right in the back door. And Josh putting it right underneath the basket. You'll never know what kind of weather to expect in or during a round at Solitude. As you can see, it's lightly raining, evaporating before it hits your skin. But you'll get wind, calm, rain, sun, all in a round. As Corey Sharp plummets 1 pin high. Here's Garrett for 2. And slams that putt. Very hot round. He'll go 8 under par. Whoa. Watch it, Garrett. Oh! Solitude grass monsters. He'll check his footing here, make sure he doesn't have a broken ankle. One of the many distractions up here at Solitude, other than the difficulty of the course. We have a group of mountain bikers. They must have heard that this kid can throw it a mile. They want to check it out. So he throws it a mile. Paul takes a very big run up here. And just doesn't come back sometimes at this elevation. Garrett, Paul, and Josh all card birdies on the lake hole. Josh knows how to place one up there. And a nice drive by Drew. So here's the chase card coming down on the ridge hole. Mike will finish his round today at 8 under par. And this is Greg Sorensen off the tee on the ridge hole. And I'm going to slow this down right here because this was a great shot. I would have felt really bad if it would have went in just behind the basket. A beautiful ace run. Another Utah local, Shea, has fought his way up to the chase card with an excellent round 1 and 2. And the course easily takes one away from him with that roll away. Jake Laputka, calling Salt Lake City his home, just comes up short as they head down the scenic fairway. And here is Corey Sharp having to deal with the many distractions of the Solitude Disc Golf Course. As you can see, this mountain biker was probably right behind the basket when he putted. And Josh throwing a very slow speed disc up here. They just glide forever at this elevation. Whereas Garrett's choosing a much faster driver, but just doesn't get any skip at all. This driver looks to be right in between, however sails long as well. Oh, and they put that chairlift pole right there so Matt could slam into it. Here's Matt popping his head out and making his approach shot on the last hole of the day. This would be for 10 under par on his round. Oh, and just hits the metal plate at the top. Still around by Paul. Josh, however, deserving that birdie with a beautiful putt. As Drew finishes up with a 5 under par for the day. Excellent round. Matt comes up a little bit short on his performance on the lead card with an even par today. Garrett just on fire at the beginning, cools off at the end, shoots 9 down. Paul, the opposite, cool at the beginning, just on fire for the last 9. Glad I could capture it, and thank you guys for watching.
33, 29, 62. 28, 27, 26, 27, 26. 27, 53.
As they head to the clubhouse to tally up the final scores and accept the awards.
All right, and then we've got the champion. First place, beating everybody by 12 strokes. Winning $1,000 cash. Paul Ulibarri. Thank you. Love coming back here. I think this is my 5th time on the mountain, and I look forward to it every year. I've missed it the last couple of years, but it's just a beautiful place and a relaxing time up there on the mountain most of the time. I want to thank my competition for everybody who I played with. I had a great time. I want to thank Matt for putting us up this weekend, and Corey and Katie Sharp for always being awesome. Those are 2 of my best friends I have, and it's just nice to come and see them. I want to thank you guys and Prodigy, Do Squad, and Crush Close. Thank you guys.